time you are a member of. And of course, I serve in your executive as your minister in charge of national security. But you know very well that I belong to ODM party. And I am not about to relinquish that membership. Our party stands for devolution. And Your Excellency, you also stand for devolution. And we have demonstrated through action that we support devolution. I want to announce here that in the financial year 2024-25, we made sure that we release all the money to the counties to support county governments. Even now, even without the passage of county allocation of revenue bill, I want to announce to the people of Kenya, having shared with you, Your Excellency, that on Monday and Tuesday, we will pay all the money for July to the counties so that counties can run the operations. And we'll make sure that we are up to date. I could say more and more, but a lot will be said by Your Excellency because my boss is here. I don't have to say a lot. Allow me just to say one word in Kijaluo. Jothuru auntie. Wan kakoganda luo. Kitwa kitimbe wa eni ruoth beda chien. Joluo ok nyal bedo gi ruodhi ariyo. Ruodhwa motelo nwa siasa en Raila Odinga. And Baba emabro chiwo direction kama Luo community there. And now nikech oyie notiyo gi William Ruto. Wan kaka ODM, wan kaka oganda Luo, watiyo gi UDA, kendo wamakore gi UDA, mangama wacho any other statement, ngano ok wuone oganda Luo, ngano ok wuone ODM, ngano wuoyo for himself. Otherwise, ang'eyo ni jo karachuonyo, nyoche kan mwalo piny ka, pod abiro duogo karachuonyo ka, weche mag dongruok duto madipo wuoye, ni wasetimo mwanyalo. Adiedo na makarabok, wakete budget ya kutosha, ndara dhi mbele koso ok dhi mbele. Ndara mosechendo miluongo ni Kanyadhiang', kaluoro dho nam nyaka Kadel, manyocho chung mane chendo, oseyudo contractor manyien, waketo ne enough budget, ndara no dhi mbele koso ok dhi mbele. Nitiere bende nama mawuok, madhi nyaka Oriwo, madhi nyaka Pala, mawuok kamiluongo ni Njeri, dong ung'e ndara no. Ndara no bro dhi mbele, osetim tendering, osetim procurement, contractor oseyudo barua, chake modong'. Nyasaye mad gwedhu, thuolo mwayudo ni watiyogo kaka Nyasaye omiyowa thuolo. Riwauru lwedo, wadhi mbele. God bless you.
Erokamano nyang', ndara mabe osechando wiwa mowuok Gendia, kadhi nyaka Kadongo, kakalo Mawego, sani lam tung tutung. Ber koso ok ber? Erokamano nyang', ndara no nikete pesa. Thank you, Your Excellency. Allow me now, as we close this session, to invite my neighbor, the governor of Migori County, Ochilo Mbogo wuona yako, chiel wioke. Karibu, Governor Ochilo.
Johoma Bay untie. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and all protocols observed. I have come here on behalf of the people of Migori County. The people of Migori County have sent me with salutation to the family of Dr. Phoebe Asiyo, and I've also come on behalf of my own family. The First Lady of Migori County has a relationship, a very strong relationship with the people of Rachuonyo, na amenituma. Mmepokea. I just want to say two things, Your Excellency. Many years ago, when I was a small boy, in Homa Bay School where I was studying, in 1983, there was an election, a national election of who was to be a member of parliament. Where I come from, we used to belong to Homa Bay constituency. Homa Bay was then Awendo, Rongo, Rangwe, and Homa Bay. This was the Greater Achwonyo. I happened to have sneaked out of school with a few of my friends and went to listen to the results as they were being announced. Your Excellency, on that particular day, that powerful person that Dr. Uhuru Odinga was talking about, we were standing at the gate of the hall in Homa Bay. The way he fled from that place, I asked myself, why was that person fleeing? I was told that he was fleeing because he had lost to Dr. Phoebe Asiyo. From that day, from where I was as a young boy, it has continued to be in my mind that this lady was a very powerful lady. Many years after that, I have had the fortune of being a member of parliament. I came to parliament in 1997. Before I was elected to parliament, I sought her wisdom. I thought she would continue her tenure as a member of parliament. She told me, no, I have done my tour of duty in elective politics and lead in other spheres. This lady knew when to exit the elective stage and elevate herself to another position. Lastly, Your Excellency, this particular lady, when I had the privilege of being the Minister for Gender, together with Honorable Zipporah Kitonyi, they came to my office and directed me that I must constitute the Gender Commission. I had the privilege of constituting the Gender Commission as the Minister for Gender. And Your Excellency, Zipporah Kitonyi and other very serious ladies made me an honorary woman. So on behalf of all the honorary women who are here, like me, poleni sana kupoteza mtu kama huyu. Sisi tumekuja hapa kwa family. Caesar Asiyo has always been my friend. Your Excellency, Caesar Asiyo called me and said they would have some fundraising. But when you intervened, Caesar Asiyo aliniambia poa tu hapo, rais amechukua hiyo gharama. Mimi nikimalizia, Your Excellency, wewe na baba na mambo ya broad-based. I am an avid reader and a student of politics all the time. That is what I do. I pursue elections sometime, but I'm all the time a student of politics. The policy that is called broad-based government is the best policy in a divided society, is the best policy in a society that is as broad as this one. I want to congratulate you and Baba for broadening inclusion in Kenya. I want to appreciate you for making every Kenyan, every county to feel that your administration needs and serves them. I want to conclude by saying, while I read politics and do things, I normally read language that is not verbalized. Hii lugha kati yako na baba imekuwa mzuri sana. Naona inaendelea vizuri. Na ikiendelea hivi, itakuwa mzuri 2027. Na wacho koseo kawacho. Asanteni sana.
Ero kamana inya. Thank you so much, Governor Ochilo. Allow me to now recognize deputy governors, my own deputy governor, Honorable Joseph Oyugi Maguanga, Wonochieng, Fuafuaya. Thank you so much. Deputy Governor of Kisumu County, Matthews Owili, thank you so much. Asante sana. Any other deputy governor? Thank you so much. Let me now invite Governor for Kisumu County, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. Asante sana, karibu Governor. Ruakna uru Anyang' Wagi Mary. Karibu sana. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor Gladys Wanga. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, the Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga. I don't think that you call Raila the former Prime Minister. He's the Prime Minister because there's no other. I'm Asiyo. the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, Raila Odinga, all protocols observed. Jothura moso sabre uru, osabre kendo sabre. Haya Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hallelujah. Asanteni sana. I will be very brief, Governor Ruanga. But I have come here in two capacities. One, as a son of Phoebe Asiyo, the late, and two, as the governor of Kisumu County. All those Kisumu County who have come with me, can you stand up and wave, please, wherever you are? Those from Kisumu County, wherever you are, asanteni sana. Karibu. When I was growing up, Phoebe Asiyo was a common name in our family. Because Phoebe and my mother, Mrs. Dorka Owino Nyong'o, were very close in Maendeleo ya Wanawake movement. Phoebe up in Nairobi and my mother at the local level. In fact, Phoebe doesn't call me by my name. Ulungagani Wood Dorka, the son of Dorka. Because Dorka was my mother. So they were very close. And when I came to Parliament, I met Phoebe. She always treated me as a child who was managed it to come where the elders are. It has been like that. In fact, yesterday, when we met Phoebe, at Kisumu Airport, Kisumu International Airport, I must apologize to Governor Wanga. When I saw her in the coffin, I broke down. And I had to leave, not to embarrass Governor Wanga. So it's a very personal thing that I've come here to be with the family of Phoebe Asiyo as we say goodbye to our great mother. The mission in life of Mama Phoebe Asiyo was to fight for human rights, not just for women, but for Kenyans as a whole. If that were not the case, she would have not been the leader of Maendeleo ya Wanawake for so long and been a parliamentarian and one of the parliamentarians who, if you look at the Hansard of the National Assembly, or Lejiko, as it used to be called, you'll find that Phoebe stood firmly for change, for human rights, for the protection of common people. If Phoebe lived today longer, Mheshimiwa Rais, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, there is something happening in Kenya which is extremely dangerous, which I'm sure Phoebe would have stood up against and campaigned to do something about it by government. This is called femicide. If you have been reading the papers or listening to radio, watching television, femicide is increasing in Kenya at geometric progression. And we have a theory in Kisumu County that the increase in femicide is closely associated with the increase of Airbnbs. I don't know whether you know that. So, Bwana President, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, let us have a strict control of the opening of Airbnbs, and the use of Airbnbs should be strongly controlled and accounted for. Because otherwise, this femicide will continue under the guise of people going to Airbnbs. I'm sorry I might be very strong about this, but in Kisumu we have noticed this phenomenon. And I hope it is not as serious elsewhere as it is in Kisumu. I see Governor Wanga is coming, but I'm finishing. Don't worry, Mama. Finally, Mr. President, we have stood here today, many people have said that I support devolution. And many people have said that money will be given to counties. But there are also some services going on in counties which should be county responsibility. In this day and age, Mr. President, I don't see why the national government should bother about Kura and Kera and give them money to do roads in counties. That's a job that can be done by county assemblies and county government and save the government a lot of money and a lot of money wasted in personnel who are not doing very good work anyway. So, Mr. President, that is my plea for today. As Phoebe is laid to rest, let Kura and Kera also be laid to rest. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Now, democracy, Madam Wanga, is not an easy form of government to have. But it is the best from human experience. When you give democracy to people, or in a democratic society, people will express their views, which sometimes you don't agree with, but it's their democratic right to express it. But after expressing it, there must be a point where decisions are made. That is why Nyerere said that democracy in African tradition was the elders sitting under a tree and talk until they agree. Today is the elders and everybody else sitting under a tree and talk until they agree. But we must agree. We can't have a society where after talking there's no agreement. And from those of you here who have come here and spoke for consensus, unity, that is very important for national development, but only after democratic discourse. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hallelujah. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Governor Professor Joturwa untie. Joturwa poduntie. Ane jomurwa ko President Dr. William Ruto Turwa ka gibat. Ane jomurwa ko Baba Gwambo wenya lego gibat. Achaka ne jomurwa ko Minping Dr. Aida Odinga gibat. Ane jomurwa ko Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. Bas. Jobuli kre uruka ngwaluonga Gwambo to nyakugo bul matinka. Aya. Your Excellency, I also now want to make a few remarks as we go towards the close of this session and as I yield back the time. We are mourning today an African icon. Her book says, "It is possible, an African woman speaks." We, as the women leadership of the country, stand on her shoulders. And that is why we are so very grateful that when Maendeleo ya Wanawake wrote to you to grant Mama Phoebe Asiyo the highest honor granted to civilians, which is a state burial, you quickly agreed. And today we are sending off Mama Phoebe as the heroine that she is. And you took your time together with Baba to come and mourn together with us, the people of Karachuonyo, the people of Kanyaluo, as we send off this great woman. The fact that we stand on her shoulders is very clear. Here in Homa Bay, when I was running, for example, for the governor's seat, and I came to Karachuonyo, or I went to any part of Homa Bay, I told them, elect me as governor, because you see, you elected Phoebe Asiyo Nyagoro, and you saw what she did for the people of Karachuonyo. And that is what brought their hearts closer, and that is what made them, over time and again, elect so many women in Homa Bay. Actually, Homa Bay County, as far as the gender parity is concerned, I think we are there and past. Because we have 12 leaders at the apex leadership of the county, 6 of whom are women and 6 of whom are men. So we are at a 50-50 balance here in Homa Bay, because Mama Phoebe broke the glass ceiling. And as I said in church in Nairobi, the women leaders of Homa Bay, they are not just women of Paso here. They are women of substance. And they are very well educated, Your Excellency. Because you have there Honorable Dr. Ivo Bara, Honorable Dr. Lillian Gogo, Honorable Dr. Joyce Osogo Bensuda, Honorable Dr. Beatrice Ogola. The least educated among them are the loudest also, which is myself and Honorable Millie. But now we have been sent back to school and we are reading to get our PhDs. Your Excellency, when you come to the men of Homa Bay, we are welcoming we welcome very much. Oh, Manaji Orengo Nyatien. Warua kura. Jimmy. Warua kuru Nyatien. Asante sana. Hello. Jomorua Kajimi, Orengo Nyatieng Fwana Urubadwe ya Mokama. Asante sana. Homa Bay orwako ajimi kabisa. Kora dhi mbele gi wach. Adhi mbele koso? Adhi mbele koso? Adhi mbele koso? Your Excellency, when it comes to the men, they are very eloquent and very brilliant, but they are yet to acquire their PhDs. So we call them Moses Kajwang, Peter Kaluma, Adipo Kuome, Martin Owino. That is the story of leadership here. Your Excellency, Mama Phoebe believed in the unity of the nation. And the fact that today yourself and Baba are sitting here under the broad-based government as we send off Phoebe Asiyo Nyagoro, I think nothing makes her happier that our country is united under the broad-based government. Na sisi, Your Excellency, kama chama cha ODM, kwa sababu mimi ndio mwenyekiti wa kitaifa wa chama kikubwa zaidi South of Sahara and North of River Limpopo, chama cha ODM. Sisi, huyu kiongozi wetu Baba ndio tunamwangalia. Na Baba akisema left ni wapi? Na akisema right ni wapi? Na akisema fire tunafanya nini? Na sasa Baba amesema tuko ndani ya broad-based government. Na kuna wale wanatuambia ati tutoke ndani ya broad-based. Jothurwa, kuna wale wanasema tutoke ndani ya broad-based. Nyinyi mnasema nini? Tukae ndani ama tukae nje? Tukae ndani ama tukae nje? Tukae ndani ama tukae nje? Wale ambao wanasema ndani, nataka nione kwa mkono yenu nyinyi wote kila mahali. Tunakaa ndani. Na mimi vile nimesikia watu wakizungumza, labda shida yao si President William Ruto. Shida yao ni kwamba wameona ya kwamba pia sisi tuko pale ndani, tuko na Mbadi pale, tuko na Wandai pale, tuko na Joho pale. Hiyo ndio labda inawakwarusa roho. Na ile siku tutakanyaga nje, au watakanyaga wapi? Ndani. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko ndani na hatubabaiki na hatutishwi. Na yule ambaye anazungumza aelewe ya kwamba kama chama cha ODM tumekubaliana na hiyo ndio msimamo yetu. Nikimalizia, Your Excellency, today is a historic day. Because, Jothurwa, gimoro timore malich samoro pokunene, ungeni wasebedo ka wagore ne piny. Tugeni jowa mang'eny be osebedo konegi moko sehinyore. To kawuono jatelo gi Baba ondiko noket task force ma ndalo 120 idhi chul jomohinyore gi jomotho pesa mora mora mondo gimbende gibed ni ginyalo yudo konyruok. Today is historic because since the beginning of this country, we have had many reports, and the reports have always spoken about compensation, but nobody has ever implemented those reports. But today, His Excellency the President, together with Baba, under the 10-point agenda of our MOU, have created a framework for compensation of all those who have been injured or died during protests in this country since 2017. It has never happened. It is historic. Na wale ambao wanaongea wataongea, lakini sisi tunajua Kenya inasonga wapi mbele. Asante sana. Niliongea kidogo ndio Governor Orengo achukue pumzi kidogo, lakini sasa nataka nimwalike aseme mambo machache.
Homa Bay oye! Homa Bay oye! Poka winjo Homa Bay oye! To Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and all Cabinet Secretaries who are here, including the Prime Cabinet Secretary, to our leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, to Min Pen Nyawangaya, Gejotelo du Tomocho Pokai, Atimo Mosahenya, Na Chopoka weche manganyo sewa ache, to Anvin and Kodu weche duto, Mosewa ache. Adwana noyo nomana kapoka loso kom Phoebe ne anorengo nyatienga ngema anorengo kidi onge kamade Korea Karoch Baraj. I want to say a few words because this is a very solemn occasion. This lady here, I can say honestly, if we trace back to the movement for human rights and talking about women's rights being human rights, Phoebe Asiyo was ahead of her time. She started that struggle before independence and continued with it. I can say that I'm one of the few people who are privileged to have served with Phoebe Asiyo in Parliament. At the time when Phoebe was first elected in Parliament, it was a very difficult time for women leaders to be in Parliament. I know now Homa Bay has taken the lead. We have more women elected in Homa Bay County more than anywhere else. And this is a great testimony to Phoebe Asiyo. I knew at the time when Phoebe used to take up very serious issues in Parliament. The Parliament at that time, those who were there with me at that time, there were so many male charlatans, many male chauvinists, and many male misogynists, and would not entertain women being leaders in Parliament. And for that matter, I honor her, and I thank the state for giving her such a wonderful send-off. But one thing that I wanted to say in conclusion, there's a trend in Kenya where we are very shy at rewarding heroes. We remember them when they die. But when we think about their role, particularly those who have fought very hard for independence in this country, they have not given their rightful place in the nation called Kenya. If you think of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who said, no Kenyatta, no Uhuru without Kenyatta. But as we speak today, there is no national monument in Nairobi named after Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And that is a trend in this nation that we must correct. In this county, I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, the person who brought UNEP to Kenya is Odero Joy. There's a time when you had any leader coming from abroad, the first person they would ask you about is Odero Joy. We have all forgotten about Odero Joy. So I ask the leadership that are here, let us try to remember our leaders who have fought for hard, including Tom Mboya. I'm very unhappy that Mboya's monuments are only here in Homa Bay. Mboya should have been named a big thing in Nairobi. And Mboya played a significant role. So I hope that with this new spirit that is coming up, this new committee that is going to look into issues of those who are assaulted or suffered during the demonstrations, that this is a new awakening, that Kenya is a democratic nation that believes in human rights. Thank you very much.
Erokamano Nyatieng. Allow me now to invite Her Excellency Canon Dr. Ida Betty Odinga Menping. Karibu Menping.
Bueno. To Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the leadership of the church, the family, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. Amoso nukwe uru. Okwe uru. God is good all the times. That is his nature. Now, as I stand here, you can see I've been escorted by great women of Kenya. I'm sure they were introduced earlier on, and therefore I don't need to introduce them again. But I'm happy. Today, we've come to celebrate life. We've come to celebrate the life of Mama Phoebe Asiyo. Mama Phoebe Asiyo is somebody who is known and who was loved by most of us. Maybe I say all of us. When I was young, mineka urukwe matin. Wabro wacho katagidholuo buro winjo bende. As we were growing up, we used to look up to Mama Phoebe Asiyo. And we used to say that when I grow up, I would like to be like Mama Phoebe Asiyo. Now, some of us are grown up now, but I don't know whether we are like her or not. Mama Phoebe Asiyo was an icon. Mama Phoebe Asiyo was a role model. Mama Phoebe Asiyo was the first in many fields. We learned a lot from Mama Phoebe Asiyo. I know everybody has got something to say, personal relation with Mama Phoebe. Let me just tell you something. At the event of multi-party in 1990, 91, 92, I had not met Mama Phoebe Asiyo personally, though I was a great admirer of Mama Phoebe. And one time, you know, that's the time when things happen. So many things were happening. For those who don't know, I became jobless, and I decided to go and work in the office of the opposition leader, and the opposition leader at that time was none other than my father-in-law, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So as I was working as an office manager and everything in that office, one day he called me around 10:30, and he told me, "Can you go and get for me Nyagoro? I want to have lunch today with Nyagoro." Now, Nyagoro is another name for Mama Phoebe Asiyo. I had no idea who was Nyagoro. I kept on asking people, who is Nyagoro? And Jose wants me to bring Nyagoro here in 2 hours' time. When I went round, there was one confidant of Jaramogi called Luko Bok, told me that is Phoebe Asiyo. Then I said, where on earth would I find Phoebe? He gave me the number, and I called Phoebe, and Phoebe came, and that was the first time I met Phoebe, and that was the beginning of my relationship with Phoebe. It was a great meeting. At that time, Phoebe was doing many things, but I took Phoebe as my personal mentor. And anything that I was doing, I would consult with Mama Phoebe. And one of the things that we did, I was advised at that particular time that I should start a women organizations, because, you know, that's the time, sorry to say this, that's the time I was in many problems. I was a teacher. I asked the NAT to help me to sort out my problems. NAT said that is political. We cannot help you. I went to Maendeleo ya Wanawake, and suddenly Maendeleo ya Wanawake had become KANU Maendeleo ya Wanawake, so they could not help me. But I was advised by none other than Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, who you have just been here, to start an organization that represents women in Kenya from all spheres and all political parties. And we started the League of Kenya Women Voters. And Mama Phoebe Asiyo was the advisor. And you know, for the first time, in the election that was carried out in 1992, had many women. All those women had passed through the League of Kenya Women Voters. And that's how it opened the work. Now, in 1995, there was the Beijing conference, which brought about the 1/3 gender rule. Many people did not understand what it was all about. And still, today, we, the women of Kenya, we are still working towards the 1/3 gender rule. I think the only county that has reached that level is Homa Bay County, which has 50% leadership in politics. Now, having said that, we did many things with Mama Phoebe. There was a time when Mama Phoebe asked me that her son, Caesar, wanted to marry, and asked me to mobilize women so that we go to Kabarnet to ask for Connie's hand to marry Caesar. And I collected many women. I think out here, what I can see here, I think it's only Ivo Bara, who was with us. There were many others. There was Felgono Kundi. There was Felgona Momanyi. There were many others. And we went there, and we sweet talked to the people of Kabarnet. It also happened that I was born in Kabarnet, so it was easy to talk to my people in Kabarnet to allow us. I'm being told it's almost time. So we did that. Mama Phoebe story cannot be told in a day. Jothurwa. Sigand Mama Phoebe bor. To wabro romo chieng moro. Wabro romo. Mondo ywag Mama Phoebe di maber. Mondo ywage maber. Mondo wach weche duto modwa wacho. Mondo anene kwa nyalo bedo. Nwa nyalo follow. Wanyalo luwo bang Mama Phoebe maber. Mondo anene kwa nyalo medo. Joma mine e telo mar piny ni. Aneno kuyiego erokamano. Koro kwatieko. Alamo mana Nyasaye mondo ket chuny Mama Phoebe kama ber e polo malo nyaka chieng' moro rom kode nikech thought is a must. Ok wanyal stope. Gima tin go erokamano kuom biro mondo akaw nya goro kai wuodhe mogik e pinyni. Erokamano mad Nyasaye gwedhu. You finished, eh?
Aya, erokamana inya min piny. Thank you so much. Wapamne min piny kodok. Asante sana. Your Excellency, I would now like to hand over the program as I invite another of our very own sons ambao tumekuwa na yeye hapa ndani ya ODM, tumetembea pamoja. Our Prime Cabinet Secretary of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi. Warua kuru jatelo.
Asante sana Governor Gladys Wanga. Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto, ndugu yetu mkubwa the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Ward Mary, Mama Aida Odinga, viongozi wote, governors, wajumbe, waombolezaji. Ujumbe wangu wa kwanza, Mheshimiwa Rais, utaenda kwa familia na jamii ya Mama Phoebe Asiyo, wakiongozwa na rafiki yetu Siza Asiyo. Kwa niaba yangu binafsi na kwa niaba ya mke wangu Tesi, natoa rambirambi za kiroho kabisa kwa familia yote kwa jumla ya Mama Phoebe Asiyo. Yangu yatakuwa machache sana kwa sababu nataka tupate nafasi tusikize viongozi wetu ambao wako hapa. Lakini nitaomba ruhusa niseme tu mawili, Mheshimiwa Rais. Kwanza, nataka nizungumze kuhusu broad-based government. Kabla sijamshukuru Mheshimiwa Raila kwa msimamo wake na wewe, nataka niseme hivi. The broad-based government is not about self-preservation of leaders. The broad-based government is about preservation of the state, preservation of the nation. It's about preserving peace. It's about preserving stability. It's about preserving equity. It's about preserving and creating stable institutions which shall be inherited by our children and our children's children. Tunasema hivyo kwa sababu watu wengi wanajaribu kutupa matope kwa uhusiano wa Mheshimiwa William Ruto na Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Mimi nataka niwaambie, hata wakijaribu, hawa viongozi wetu wawili wameonyesha kwamba taifa na usalama wa taifa unashinda tamaa yote nyingine ya ulimwengu. Kwa hivyo ningependa tu kusema kwamba sisi tunaungana kabisa, kwa sababu tunataka Kenya inawiri. Tunataka Kenya iwe na amani. Tunataka uchumi wetu upanuke zaidi. Na ndio kwa sababu sisi tuko kwa huo msimamo wa kusema tunataka broad-based government na tunataka inclusivity katika taifa letu. Ukiona mtu anatembea kule, anauza ukabila mpaka hata wenyeji wake wanaanza kumwambia tumechoka, basi ujue sasa huyo jamaa siasa yake duni imeanza kufika ukingoni. Jambo langu la pili, Mheshimiwa Rais, ni kusema tu kwamba uamuzi ambao umeonekana kwa kidete chako leo kuteua mechanism ama kuunda jopo ambalo litasaidia kuangazia na kusaidia wale kwa bahati mbaya waliuawa ama walipoteza maisha yao katika harakati za kama ni maandamano kwa sababu ya mambo ya katiba. Ni vizuri sana jambo hili limetokea. Na Mheshimiwa Rais, ningependa kusisitiza kwamba Kenya wakati huu muhula wa 2025 hadi 2027, Kenya is a member of the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. We have a seat there. Kwa hivyo msimamo ambao umechukua na uamuzi na tekelezo ambalo limetendeka ni la muhimu sana, kwa sababu hakuna mtu yeyote angependa kuona damu ikimwagika. It's a very courageous decision, but it is also the right decision, and we hope and trust that tukienda mbele, this will not be a recurrent process in our republic. We want to move forward in unison. La mwisho, nataka tu nimuunge Anyang' Nyong'o kwamba tuchunge wakina mama wetu, wasiuawe kiholela holela, wasidhulumiwe, wasiaibishwe, wasiwekwe kwa mtandao kwa njia ambayo sio ya heshima. Tunataka heshima ya wamama wetu ilindwe na ijengwe. Hapo ndio taifa kubwa la maana litaepuka. Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi nilikuwa na nafasi kuwa kwa bunge pamoja na Mama Phoebe Asiyo. We were toddlers kwa siasa. And Mama Phoebe Asiyo, and then there was Mama Grace Ogot. These were very a dynamic duo in Parliament. Very constructive in their debate, and also very humorous when it came to time to be humorous. and very compassionate and very focused. So today, may Mama Phoebe's soul rest in eternal peace. Sasa ni nafasi yangu ya kiheshima kumwalika mtoto wa hapa Ward Mary, kwa sababu nimesikia Gladys Wanga akisema mambo ya ODM. Ni kweli, nimeona hapa kuna watatu ambao walikuwa kwa Pentagon kwa ODM, na yule alikuwa kiongozi wetu kwa hiyo Pentagon ni Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Sasa nataka tuchukue fursa hii tumsimamishe Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga aje hapa mbele atuzungumzie, alafu yeye ndio ataalika Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Asante.
Haya. Jothurwa. Wabiro kawuono gikuyo Marco Phoebe Nyagoro. Wabiro yewimo tung piny biro kae kawuono. Adwa wacho gi dhok moro mokwongo kabiro wacho gi dhowa. We have come here today to mourn a great Kenyan lady, a matriarch in all sense of the word. Phoebe's life is an exemplification of humanism. She ranks among some of the greatest women in the world. So we have come today to celebrate her life, not to mourn. Because at 92, Phoebe has seen it all. She rose from childhood at the time when there's a lot of discrimination against women, and managed against all the odds at that time to secure education up to a high level and becoming a teacher. One of those she taught there in central Kenya was a member of parliament with us, Matere Keriri. Matere Keriri used to tell us how Phoebe used to teach them how to dress properly in those years. She then became the first African woman to become a leader of maendeleo ya wanawake against white women. And when independence came, she was working with the prison department. Jaramogi, as Minister for Home Affairs, was in charge of prisons, made her a superintendent of prisons, became a senior superintendent of prisons. And in that capacity, she helped to develop the Langata Women Prison to create conditions of humanity in the prisons there. And then she worked with children after that. She worked with children and promoted the development of children, orphans, children which were disabled, and so on. That is another contribution that Phoebe made.
And then she became a politician. And as you have been told, if you go into the Hansard, you will see the Phoebe's contribution in Parliament. When she stood to talk in Parliament about women's rights, you would sit down and just listen and cheer her. She was very passionate about women's rights. She elevated women's issues to the national level, and she was fearless. Phoebe was also compassionate. Uhuru has told you the relationship between us, our family, and the family of Phoebe. Jaramogi and Phoebe's father, the late Pastor Joel Omer, were the founders of Luo Union East Africa. Jaramogi became the first Kir. Joel Omer became the deputy Kir. Late Mr. Adano Tuko became the Secretary General of Luo Union. And it is through Mr. Joel Omer that Uhuru came to study this other side of Nyanza. We used to meet Phoebe in those years when she was young. And therefore, Phoebe is like my elder sister. Here in this family, all her other brothers, some of them late, most of them late, and sisters. We are family with the Omers. But Phoebe has also several connections here. Her grandmother came from another clan of Karachuonyo. She herself lived in another clan of Karachuonyo. Now she's married to another clan of Karachuonyo. That's why when she decided to come into politics, she was unbeatable in Karachuonyo. She stood against Okikamayo and won. Amayo appealed, and there was a by-election here in Karachuonyo. We came to Karachuonyo here with Orengo Jimmy here. Kajawad Gadong. Asoko Jaka John. Here, Phoebe's symbol was the house. And that by-election was contested. It was a serious by-election because the entire government machinery was supporting Okikamayo. But we came here, descended this place like bees. And we had a Soka Jaka John with his kinanda. Odd. Yokarachuonyo. Odd. Nyagoru. Odd. Kende mwago ni ombulu. Phoebe wacho. Odd. Asiyo wacho. Odd. Okachi wacho. Odd. Karachuonyo wacho. Odd. Odd. Kende mwago ni ombulu. She was re-elected resoundingly. And after this momentum that we had gathered here in Karachuonyo, we descended into Ugenya. There was another by-election in Ugenya. And that by-election again, we put Orengo Simba. And Simba also won against another minister, Matthew Sugutu. Then we moved up to central Kenya at that time. We had created a wave at that time, which was very powerful. Phoebe did not let us down when she went to Parliament. She went to Parliament and continued to fight for the rights of Kenyans that we had all been talking about. Later on, we would join with Phoebe in 1992 in Ford, Kenya. And she became a member of Parliament for Karachuonyo once again. And we were there together up to 1997. Jaramogi died when we were together with Phoebe. And Phoebe was one of the people who actually held my hand at that time and asked me to forget what had happened and to move on. She was one of the people who consoled me at that very difficult time. So that's why I'm so happy today that the government of President Ruto has accepted to give Phoebe this kind of burial that she richly deserves. As a hero. As a hero. And Mr. President, I want you to follow it up by dedicating a monument in Nairobi in honor of Madam Phoebe Asiyo Nyaguru. Because Phoebe deserves it. Phoebe has done what many people have not been able to do. And that's why we are all here today. I want to say now, we are here as Kenyans today. We know where we are coming from. We were in a very serious situation sometime last year. Everybody knows where we were. There was a possibility of Kenya degenerating into a failed state like Somalia, like Sudan today. People who do not understand history talk very easily. But ask them, tell them, what happened in Libya? What happened in Egypt after the Arab Spring? What happened? Where was it a risk where a crowd not able to move in and take the government and form a government? Where do you have a military regime in Egypt today after the Arab Spring? Even Tunisia. People do not really understand. That is why they make it very simple. And it's very easy for them to write articles in newspapers. I read them and I just laugh. They tried to revelize what was a very serious situation. So what we have today is basically something that we were forced into because of the circumstances that were existing at that time. I want to invite somebody to tell me their own solution, how this would have been solved. We sacrificed so that there could be peace in this country. And that's the reason why we are here today. I do not regret what we did. We did it in the best interest of our country. And Kenya must move forward. But we have continued to say that we need to improve our governance structure. Issues of human rights must be respected. We must ensure that people live well. We must ensure that our people have food, that our people have shelter, that our people have work, that our people, when they are sick, they can be treated, that our children will go to school. This is very, very important to us. This is very important indeed. And that the cost of living needs to be brought down. And that it must be rule of law. That the security forces are there to protect the people. The police are servants of the people, not masters. The police need to be civil to the population. If you have committed an offense, arrest me. Take me to prison, take me to court. And let the court find me guilty and imprison me. But do not use your own weapon to assassinate me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot to kill. Don't shoot to kill. Don't shoot to maim. Arrest and charge in a court of law. That's what is called rule of law. And we have sat together and reviewed the MOU that we signed last year, this year. And we have now put together a framework to ensure that the MOU is implemented to the letter. This is going to happen. Those who have been maimed, those who have been injured, those who have been in hospital, and those who have died, the families of those who have died will be compensated. And we said we go back to just not 2024, 2023, 22, we go back to 2017. From 2017 up to today, all those people who have been maimed, have been killed, and so on, the families are going to be compensated. And we have got to put in place a framework for that to happen. Secondly, we have also a structure of how to ensure that the MOU itself is implemented to the full. And that's why next week you're going to have a joint parliamentary group meeting to ensure that our members of parliament implement what we need, put up structures in place so that we can be able to implement what we've agreed on. This is going to happen. So I just want to say, the naysayers, give us space, give us room, give us, and the judges in 2027. And we've said this is going to remain in place up to 2027. After that, we will see where we go to. Even if you are saying one term, so what? It's the Kenyans who will decide the term. And we will see where we want to go. I am confident when that time comes, we will face Kenyans squarely and tell Kenyans, this is why we did ABCD, this is where we want to go. Utasema yako, tutasema yetu. Tuone Wakenya watamini nani. So hivyo mimi sina wasiwasi. Piga kelele. Piga kelele namna hiyo. Bweka tu. Kongo hiyo ni kama hiyo ngurumo ya chura. Ngurumo ya chura haizui ng'ombe kunywa maji. Ng'ombe itakunywa maji. We will be able to move beyond 2027. I'm confident we will move beyond 2027. Nobody should try to threaten us. We are Kenyans like we are Kenyans. Don't go and say that Kenyans is sectionalized. Sisi ni watu wa bahari. Sisi ni watu wa ziwa, kanda ya ziwa Victoria. Sisi ni watu wa bonde la ufa. Sisi ni watu wa milima. Sisi ni Kenya. All and every Kenyan matters. It's not a question of blood relationship. Oh, you're our cousins. You're our cousins. You're our cousins. So those are your cousins. Those who are not your cousins, what are they? Are they not Kenyans? Are they not Kenyans? Don't tell us also that there is, the government has got shareholders. Watu wengine wako na share mingi, wengine wana kidogo, wengine hawana shares. Then why are you collecting taxes from those who don't have shares? Why do you tax them? You collect shares, money from them, and you say they don't deserve services because they did not vote for you. Shame on you. Shame on you. We want to live in a civilized society, in a civilized manner, in a humane manner. We want Kenyans to be proud as Kenyans. Kenya is a great country. Kenya is a great country. Kenya can transition to a first world. There's no reason why Kenya cannot move the way Kenyans equivalents have done. We can do it when we create enabling environment for Kenyans to thrive. Kenyans can excel. I've seen Kenyans excel elsewhere. I've seen countries much poorer than Kenya transition and become first world. Korea is one. Vietnam was bombarded by Americans for many years. Nobody believed that people remaining in Vietnam. Today, Vietnam's economy is up there. Energy consumption in Vietnam today is 70,000 megawatts. Kenya is only 3,500. We'll go that route. There are many things that can be done here. When we sit down and plan properly, Kenya will be able to take off. Mr. President, we had Vision 2030. It's not been followed very well. As we now want to work with you, we want to ensure that we bring Vision 2030 back on the table. We also revived the NESC, National Economic and Social Council, so that all those flagship projects that we coined during that time can be revived and make sure that they're all moving together, going in the right direction. This will help us as a country. So I'm saying this as just a Kenyan patriot who is thinking about Kenya. Kenya number 1, Kenya number 2, Kenya number 3. This is where we are. At this juncture now, I also want to congratulate Harambee Stars for making us proud twice. Making us proud. Harambee Stars are showing what other Kenyans do not know exists. And this is the spirit that we want to continue to hail. So, Yuthurwa, wako Nyagoro, Gimor. Nyagoro tiyo matek. Nyagoro tiyo matek ahinya. Omiyo nyaka koe gi sironyo. Otiyo matek kata kineno nyithindegi, ineno sisaka, ineno nyigegi duto te yawuotegi. Chola kageki. Otingo malo. Dala kaka una Asiyo. Nechalo dala waka. Obiro kaeri, seje duto te ka Aduong' Asiyo ne entie, kore gi Phoebe Nyagoro. Aduong' Asiyo ne ero chung' motegno, osiro Phoebe go gitoke. Emomiyo kadi yuma dichuo ka chiegni malo kucha. Wek bedo gi nyiego. Dhire. Konye. Yawuoyi mako kono ni dhako ni malo kucha ni ni dhako loya. Chiang'ang'e ni kucha mako wekelo ni fitina ni chiegi chakora ni kiwudho mna kama macha. Mi dhako thuolo. Moni nyalo. Okumoni nyalo. Okumoni nyalo. Yuthuro yie kamano. Uye kamano. I want to finish here by remembering some of the heroes of this community here. There was the late Paul Mboya, Alwali Nyakongo, a great patriarch of the Luo community, from this community here. There was Ojijo Teko. Ojijo Teko was one of the freedom fighters, those who started Penyawacho, and was arrested by the colonialists and was taken to Kismayu in now the present day Somali. Nyako mare utegno. Enind kucha kabichi chiegni goji Juno Teko. Go Paul Mboya, Alwali Nyakongo. Go chok. Kodo kiki mani kirugo. Nyasaye mondo uketi chunyi kama beri purumalo. Erokamano. Now let me take the opportunity to invite ndugu Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, President William Samoei Ruto.
Asante sana. Jodhurwa untie. Jodhurwa umor. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hebu nione kwa mikono. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Asante sana. Mheshimiwa Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, mama wetu Aida Odinga, waheshimiwa viongozi wengine wote na wananchi wa hapa Karachuonyo na Homa Bay. Kwanza, mimi naleta rambirambi zangu na familia yangu kwa familia ya mama wetu shujaa kiongozi Phoebe Asiyo. Nasema poleni sana kwa sababu huyu kiongozi leo ametuacha, lakini pia tumekuja kusherehekea maisha yake, maisha ambayo imechangia sehemu kubwa katika uongozi wa kina mama katika taifa letu la Kenya na uongozi kwa ujumla katika taifa letu la Kenya. Na leta vile vile rambirambi kutoka serikali ya Kenya kwa familia hii, kwa viongozi wa Karachuonyo, watu wa Homa Bay, tukisema poleni sana na tutasimama pamoja na nyinyi. Huyu mama shujaa leo tunampatia heshima ya kitaifa kama shujaa wa Kenya kwa hii state ceremony, na sio kwa sababu niliulizwa, ni kwa sababu mama Asiyo has earned her place as a national hero and a national leader. We remember very well that Mama Asiyo became the first Kenyan leader of maendeleo ya wanawake. Today, we have a legacy of women leadership in Kenya. Today, here in Homa Bay, we can see what her mentorship, what her leadership, what her influence has brought in women leadership, not just in Homa Bay, but also in the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, she deserves her place as a national hero. And I agree with the Prime Minister that she deserves her name to be put in a prominent place in the annals of history and in a place of pride, both here in Homa Bay and in Nairobi as well. Tutaanza na hapa Homa Bay. Nimeulizwa ya kwamba shule hii ambayo inaitwa Wikondiek, nimeulizwa na mbunge wenu ya kwamba hii shule ambayo inaitwa Wikondiek ibadilishwe iitwe Mama Asiyo Secondary School. Na nimekubali ya kwamba hiwe hivyo, because this great Kenyan lady deserves her rightful place as a national hero, beginning from here at home in Homa Bay. Ile ingine tutafuatilia na kule Nairobi. Ndugu zangu wananchi wa Homa Bay, Mheshimiwa Raila, Mheshimiwa Baba ameongea hapa as a patriot, as a Kenyan committed to the progress and success of Kenya. I was also almost tempted to say that I have nothing useful to add. He has said it all, and he has put it well. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, your place in the history, in the progress, in the governance, in the destiny of our nation is firmly engraved. Your contribution, your sacrifice, your mentorship of many leaders is something of pride to those of us who have worked under you in our earlier political journey. And I want to say, listening to you today, I am persuaded that this nation, and I associate and I agree with your commitment and your conviction that Kenya is a great country, because it is a great country. It is only that some do not understand the potential and the greatness of this nation. Because of your commitment to this country, today you have assisted me to put together the broad-based government, a government that brings all communities, all regions, all parts of Kenya in an inclusive manner into one administration that does not look, that does not seek to preserve any leader, but to preserve the destiny and the place and the stability of the Republic of Kenya. And I want to say this in this very solemn occasion, that because of the coming together under this broad-based government, because of the Honorable Raila Odinga working with me to put together this broad-based government, Kenya has a date with destiny. Kenya has a historic opportunity to change the place of Kenya and to elevate this country to the next level. To unite this nation beyond community, tribe, region, or religion. And to forge that unity so that we can transform our economy, make it inclusive, deal with the challenge of unemployment, create wealth to get rid of poverty, transform our agriculture so that we can eliminate the shame of hunger, create products for exports, and expand our progress and our prosperity. Transform this nation in a very meaningful way. And I want to say that today, as has been said by Baba, we are committed to taking this country to the next level. And it is the reason why we signed the 10-point agenda. And I want to commit that as the head of the executive, that 10-point agenda will be implemented to the letter. The journey towards the implementation of that agenda began. And that is why, because we were very clear about the place of devolution, we not only have paid all the monies that were due by the end of the last financial year, we are also committed that even without the necessary legislation, on Monday, Treasury is going to release the resources for our counties for the month of July. We have also set in motion the discussions on how to enhance allocations to our counties, as we demonstrated in the last budget, where we added an extra 30 billion shillings to our counties. And that is the trajectory that we have agreed upon. As has been said here, we have also put together a 5-member committee to make sure that our administration will implement not just the 10-point agenda, but all the other agreements that we have agreed so that we can transform this nation. Let me also say that as part of the implementation of the 10-point agenda, today I set up the infrastructure and the mechanism to pay and compensate all those who lost their lives, those who were injured, those who were hospitalized, as part of healing our nation so that we can bring our nation together and forge and focus our ideas, our energy, and our focus in taking the country into the future. Let me also say that as part of this momentum, Baba and I have agreed that we will also make sure that the agreements we have signed under the 10-point agenda and all the other commitments that we have made on devolution, on implementing NADCO, on implementing all the other programs, will be undertaken by making sure that our parliamentary groups are aligned so that they can assist us process the necessary documentation, pass the necessary legislation, and provide the necessary funds for us to be able to implement the commitments we have made. And therefore, I want to say on this occasion that we are not doing trial and error. This is not an exercise of guesswork. We know where we've come from. We know the risks our nation has gone through. And we know what we must do and where we must go so that we can secure the peace, the stability, and the progress of our nation. Let me conclude my remarks by saying that while in Homa Bay today, leaders here have asked that we focus on the development of the nation as we focus on the development of this county. Let me commit that we have provided in this year's budget enhanced resources for the development of this county. I am aware that this county and this region requires affirmative action, because for a very long time, this region has not benefited from the resources and the development of our country as other regions have. It is the reason why we have enhanced the budget, for example, for roads from about 500 million last year to 3.2 billion shillings this year, and another 2 billion shillings will be allocated in the short term, so that we can bring back all the contractors for all the roads that had stalled. I want to commit to you that all the contractors are back. Those which are not back, they will be back. We now have the resources to make sure that we complete the roads that we made our commitment upon in this region. Not just those which are ongoing, but we have also committed to build 5 new roads. We have committed to build 5 new roads in Homa Bay County as part of the process of affirmative action. Huyo mama angoje tu nitamuona baadaye. Relax hapo. As part of making sure that we build the necessary infrastructure to underwrite and to form a foundation for the progress and the development of this county and our country, Kenya. This tall man, Mheshimiwa Adipo, has mentioned some of the roads that we already agreed. I want to tell the people of Karachuonyo, ile barabara mulituambia na huyu bwana Odipo ama Adipo, huyu mtu mrefu, barabara ya Namba Karabuok Adiedo, hiyo barabara contractor yuko hapo na hawezi kutoka mpaka akamilishe hiyo barabara. Vile vile barabara ya Kadel Kanyatiang, hiyo ambayo inaenda mpaka Ramba, inaenda mpaka Gotrateng, hiyo barabara karibu kilomita 70, contractor amerudi, hawezi kuondoka mpaka akamilishe hiyo barabara. Na zile barabara zingine ambazo nimesema tumeongeza pesa ya kuzitengeneza, kwa sababu mambo ya ujenzi wa barabara katika hii sehemu ilichelewa. Vile vile najua ya kwamba watu wengi katika sehemu hii hawajapata stima, na ndio sababu tumeprovide pesa shilingi bilioni 2 kuunganisha stima kwa wananchi ama manyumba ama households 20,000, kazi ambayo inaendelea kutoka sasa mpaka Disemba. Tutakuwa tumeunganisha nyumba 20,000 hapa Homa Bay as part of bringing every part of the country together so that we can move together as a nation. Mimi nataka niwashukuru watu wa Homa Bay katika program yetu ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila mwananchi anapata matibabu. Watu wa Homa Bay mumejisajili, nyinyi ni county namba 13 kwa Kenya mzima kwa kujiandikisha kwa mpango wa SHA. Mimi nasema pongezi Governor Wanga, pongezi government ya hapa Homa Bay, pongezi watu wa Homa Bay, endeleeni hivyo, na tunataka kila mwananchi ajisajili ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba mambo ya afya sio starehe ya watu matajiri ama watu wanaoweza, ni haki ya kila Mkenya bila ya kujali uwezo wao wa kifedha. 533,000 people in Homa Bay are now registered in SHA. And as I said yesterday, and I want to repeat it here when I'm in Homa Bay, mwananchi aende hospitali pale level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, outpatient, atibiwe, apatiwe dawa na asiulizwe pesa yoyote, aende nyumbani, kwa sababu serikali ya Kenya tumeweka pesa ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba matibabu ya wananchi iko sawa sawa. Ndugu wananchi wa Homa Bay, mbele yetu hapa amelala kiongozi mama, shujaa wa taifa letu la Kenya. We are sending her today in a state funeral because she made a contribution to the Republic of Kenya. And as we do that, let me also say that on the issues that the Honorable Adipo mentioned, amesema ya kwamba mnahitaji madarasa katika shule yetu hapa, na shule hiyo inahitaji basi. Kwa heshima ya mama huyu, mimi nitahakikisha kwamba madarasa hayo yamejengwa na basi hiyo imeletwa kwa shule yenu hapa. And finally, in honor of Mama Phoebe Asiyo and women leaders in Kenya, wakiwemo kina mama wetu wote wa maendeleo ya wanawake. Baba and I have committed that under the NADCO framework, we must and we will actualize the 2/3 gender rule this time round. Kwa hivyo, wana Homa Bay, mimi nataka niseme asante sana kwa kutukaribisha hapa. Asante sana kwa heshima yenu na ushirika wenu. Mjue tunawapenda, tunawatakia heri na Mungu awabariki siku zote. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Tumpongeze rais kwa makofi tafadhali. Asante sana.